Hello?
They are literally scanning up at night. Meet Varum. He has a TikTok account called MotoEns. On this account, he posts all sorts of things from his fun trips and adventures, mixed with some light-hearted moments. But in March 2023, Varum shared something really strange that had never happened to him before. It felt totally new and stuck with him. He put a caption on the video with the words "Help" and "Skinwalker." He thought that whatever was making the noises in the video must have been a Wendigo or a Skinwalker. At the beginning of the video, you see him walking his bike through the woods, going somewhere. Then something unexpected happened. A loud, sharp and creepy sound suddenly broke the quiet of the day. It did not sound like any normal animal like a fox or a wolf. Ash, that's War, could not figure out what it was. But it felt like something was hiding nearby. Then very quickly things changed dramatically. The moment he said hello, something moved in the woods.
Hello?
And the noise got so loud and intense that Varum got really scared right away. It felt like whatever was out there was dangerously close. He got really frightened and started walking faster, trying to get out of the forest and find a safe place. The video suddenly stops right when he speeds up to run away from the scary situation as fast as he could. In the video's description, Varum thought that the sound might have come from a Wendigo. In old stories, a Wendigo is a person who turns into a monster after eating human meat. Just thinking about that made Varum feel really cold and scared, especially because he was all alone with just his bike. The whole thing felt creepy and really unsettling. Even now, nobody knows what made those strange sounds. Maybe some mysteries are better left unsolved. If that already gave you the chills, get ready for the next scary video. This spooky video comes from the YouTube channel Exploration Unknown, run by John, a guy who loves filming his brave adventures. For 8 years, John has explored creepy abandoned places, sometimes staying overnight, and shared the beauty of old forgotten spots with his viewers. But sometimes his trips get scary, like in this video called Ghost Caught on Camera, which makes him wonder if his hobby is too risky. In this video, John camps at an old, hidden farm deep in the woods, excited to check out its rundown buildings. Not because of ghost stories. He wants to see what is left behind, not knowing this night will turn creepy for a different reason. On November 9, 2017, as the sun sets and shadows grow, John sets up camp and starts filming, unaware of something hiding in the dark. He finds cool old stuff like a barrel and an 80s printer.
Stuff here. Now that is a relic of the past. It's like an old 80s printer.
Loving the decaying buildings. Even though he feels a bit uneasy, he ignores it and keeps exploring. In a falling apart barn, he sees unopened oil cans and old McDonald's bags, enjoying the spooky vibe. After looking around, John rests at his camp, not knowing his camera caught something creepy. He thought this was just another fun adventure, but his video shows a faint white figure standing still by a tree. He did not notice it while filming, only seeing it later when he uploaded the video.
Woods at night. Something really freaking cool about it. Okay. I think I know.
It gave him chills, realizing he was not alone. He felt relieved. He did not see it then, but worried about what could have happened. This turned a normal trip into one of his scariest experiences, showing how wild and unpredictable camping in the woods can be. Okay, so a hiker in the UK named Lauren posted a really creepy short video on TikTok. It went viral because it freaked a lot of people out. The video shows the hiker reaching the top of a lonely hill while camping alone. When the camera looks around, you see something weird on the other side. Okay, so when we look closely at this creepy video, even though people say it might just be a peaceful druid ritual, the fact that so many viewers felt uneasy is interesting. It shows how much the way something looks and what we don't know can affect us. It's super quiet and looks like they are doing something specific. That's why the hiker started recording and shared it online. The video is only a few seconds long, but it feels really unsettling. The fact that they were in the middle of nowhere makes it feel even more creepy, even if they were not doing anything harmful, because we don't know what is going on. And it looks so strange, it makes us suspicious and imagine things. But not everyone agreed. Just seeing a circle of people in white robes around kids looked really disturbing to many viewers. Even if the group was not doing anything bad, the strange scene in such a remote place felt very tense and made people uneasy. The video is powerful because it is unclear. This lets viewers think about it in their own way and maybe even feel a little scared by the silent, puzzling scene. So whether it was harmless or not, the moment Lauren Burlex captured is a really eerie thing to see while camping. It shows that sometimes creepy things don't need an explanation. They just feel creepy on their own. What did you think about the video? This guy Dan, who has a YouTube channel called Sort of Interesting. He is famous for doing adventurous stuff outside, really pushing himself in nature. But one night he went into some quiet woods by himself. He wanted to be alone and see how tough he was against the weather and the dark. But he didn't know that his peaceful trip was about to become really scary.
Forecast 50% chance of rain for every hour until 9 AM tomorrow.
The video starts with Dan going into the woods as night was falling on February 21st, 2025. It was already raining and he had a heavy backpack. He said it had rained all day, so everything on the ground was wet. The forecast said there was a 50% chance of rain every hour until 9 in the morning. His shoes were falling apart and he couldn't start his trip until it was dark. He joked that it sounded like a perfect first solo camping trip in the wild. He introduced himself as Dan Brown and said he was just going to enjoy some quiet time in the hills. Right away, the mood felt creepy. It was dark with only the rain and Dan's footsteps breaking the silence. He looked for a place to cook, not knowing that he was not alone anymore. He also mentioned that using dimmer lights made him think he could hear and see things that might not be there. But he was not sure because it was so dark where he needed to be. He took a quick break, using only dim lights. Then he shone his bright flashlight around to show the woods to the camera. A car stopped on a road up above, and he saw a light shone into the trees from higher up. This really spooked him. He said his heart was racing.
Oh man, my heart is going. I swear the car that I just mentioned pulled up and somebody's got out. I don't know if it's just coincidence. I'm trying to tell myself that, but I am.
He mentioned the car again, saying it had pulled up and someone got out. He tried to tell himself it was just a coincidence, but he was really scared. He said he felt stupid. He was not sure if the camera could see, but there were lights scanning up and down.
This isn't fun, this. I am so stupid. I am the stupidest person I don't know if you can see that they are literally scanning up and down.
As Dan looked for a place to cook, he realized he was not alone. Headlights flashed through the trees where a car should not have been. Then a flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Someone was watching from the shadows. A deep fear grabbed him, the unsettling feeling of being seen and singled out. His peaceful solo camping trip had turned into a tense game of unseen eyes and growing paranoia. He said he did not know what to do, crouching down on the ground. The car incident made Dan very nervous. His senses were sharp and alert. The creepy feeling of being watched got stronger, and the darkness around him seemed to hide more than just trees. He went deeper into the forest, away from the distant car lights. Still looking for a good place to cook, He finally found a spot to make a quick meal and calm down. But distant sounds broke the silence of the night, each one feeling like a possible danger, keeping him on edge. The peace he wanted for his meal was ruined by the anxiety around him. He said there was no way he could make it to where he originally wanted to camp because of the mist and fog. The video then showed the foggy surroundings. It was like nature itself was turning against him, as if the unseen watchers were not enough.
This is the mist and the fog conditions. There's no way I'm going to make it to where I wanted to pitch up.
A thick fog rolled in, covering the forest in a spooky way. What was first just annoying now felt like a growing threat, making him feel even more alone and in danger. Because of this, he decided to change his original plan. He said that with the changing and worsening weather, and because he could not fully calm down after hearing quad bikes, which worried him that someone could easily come up the hill and see him alone and lit up like a target on a stormy hilltop. He decided that if it was not going to be fun, he did not want to just lie awake scared on a hilltop by himself for 7 hours in what felt like a slightly too public place. That's when Dan decided to pack up and start hiking back to his car.
Alone on a stormy hilltop. And so, yeah, I thought, if this isn't going to be fun, I don't want to just be lying awake in fear on my own on a hilltop for 7 hours. And like you say, just a little bit too much of a public place.
He ended the video by saying how terrified he felt after hearing distant noises, footsteps, and voices coming and going.
I've just been hearing a car alarm go off in the distance, and I'm just wondering if there is any mischief afoot, because I saw a thing on Facebook about there being some trouble going around the area.
He was sure he could not spend the night alone and knew he had made the right choice to leave. He mentioned having about 6 to 7 miles to walk back. In the last 20 minutes, he had heard voices, thought he heard quad bikes or dirt bikes, and heard a shout. He also heard a car alarm going off in the distance and wondered if there was trouble because he had seen something on Facebook about problems in the area and people parking on back roads. Afterward, Dan thought about his failed trip. It was not the weather or the hard walk that made him leave. It was the feeling of something unseen, something hiding in the shadows. He learned from this experience the importance of being quiet and leaving fewer signs in the wild. But most importantly, he realized the biggest lesson was knowing when to trust his gut feeling. Especially when the forest seemed to be warning him to leave. The wilderness can be unpredictable, and sometimes the scariest things are not animals but the uneasy feeling of the unknown. Our next video is from the Scotland's Mountains YouTube channel. Billy shows his trips in Scotland's islands, like amazing camping on mountain tops, riding bikes, climbing rocks, and using kayaks on lakes. Billy films everything he does when he is doing what he loves most, seeing the wild, empty places of Scotland. In this video, Billy and his good friend Ray go to a very famous place in the West Highlands, Louis Belt.
Here we are at Louis Belt. I'm going to get the tent set up. I'm going to pitch here, Ray's just over there. So yeah, let's get this done and I'll report back in a wee while.
This lonely and now broken building has had ghost stories for a long time. People have said they heard strange footsteps and saw things move by themselves when the building was still used. Some even think a noisy ghost lives there. But even with the scary stories, Billy and Ray really want to go. Since they first heard about Louis Belt, they knew they had to see it themselves. To really feel it, they decided to be brave and sleep there for the night. But the broken buildings is far from any roads, so leaving fast won't be easy. It's October 27th, 2023. Billy and Ray meet where they start their trip, ready to walk into the mountains. The way is long and hard, so they start by riding bikes through the rough land. They want to go as far as they can before they have to walk. But even when the path gets harder, they are still very excited. They keep going because they really want to get there. After a long bike ride, they finally get to an easier path that takes them closer and closer to where they are going.
Absolute murder. It's all it's steep, but you see it's all pitted and oh, it's horrible.
Seeing where they want to go makes them feel strong again. They forget how tired they are from their long trip. And then they finally get to Louis Belt. When they first really look at the broken and old building that people say is haunted, they feel both excited and a little scared. The building stands alone in the big empty land. It feels spooky, and that feeling stays in the cold mountain air. They still want to finish their adventure, so Billy and Ray start setting up their camp. They try not to think about the bad feeling they have, but they can't stop thinking about sleeping in a place that has such a scary story.
Oh, I tell you what, it's no warm, it's cold. As I said earlier, there's snow on the tops, so, and I've got my summer gear with me. It's a cold night tonight.
Billy and Ray set up their tent, and now it's time to eat some food while they look at the pretty view.
To Kinlochleven today, and you go through Glencoe and then down by the Three Sisters.
The sun is going down, and the yellow light makes long shadows on the broken building. For a moment, the quiet wild place makes them forget that Louis Belt is supposed to be scary, but that's also when the first strange thing seems to happen. Billy and Ray both feel pretty comfortable and are still enjoying being in nature. After they eat dinner, they decide to make a fire and spend some good time together. But as the fire moves and the night gets darker, how it feels starts to change. The wild place that felt nice now feels different, heavier, like it's watching them.
Stove as well, so I'll probably set that up and get a wee fire going. Then we can have a chat. But so far, it's just a lovely place, actually.
After talking and telling ghost stories, including some strange things that happened to them, they feel happy and are really enjoying the night. But just before they go to their tents, Billy and Ray decide to look inside the broken building one last time. This time it's dark and they only have their flashlights to see. They go inside.
There and then on there. So if they left the front of the building, then that would have been one of the windows. Yeah.
So after walking around in the wind, they looked at the sky. There was a little bit of the northern lights and also a meteor shower. They watched it before going to sleep. Inside the broken building, they still felt uneasy, thinking about all the stories and how old this place was. But it was time to sleep, and they had to try to ignore that feeling and make the best of it. Even though it felt spooky, Billy and Ray finally fell asleep. But Billy didn't sleep well. Billy and Ray were safe through the night. They both heard strange sounds during the night but tried to ignore them, hoping it was just in their heads. Even though it felt a bit worrying, but when the sun finally came up again, the beautiful view in the sky above the mountains made it feel peaceful again.
Hence I put the waterproofs on. I wasn't sure what we were actually walking into today. It's nice though, it's nice at the moment.
Yeah,
There are some
nice.
showers out to the west. That sunrise hasn't really come to anything.
Feeling happy and like they did something good, the two friends ate, packed their things, and left this scary place to go back to where people live.
Now you get in there slowly. Going to put the big camera which I'm filming on and my other camera away in its waterproof bag and into my waterproof bag.
They will remember this adventure for a long time, even though they did not really believe in ghosts. They could not stop feeling that something was really strange about that place. A couple who love camping in their van and exploring nature with their dog decided to return to a place that had made them feel uneasy before. On their last visit, they had heard strange unexplained sounds in the
The
woods.
reason we haven't come back here yet is because, you know, it's a little bit creepy. You don't know what's out over here. I had plans.
At night. Despite feeling a bit worried, they wanted to give the location another try. Earlier that day, everything seemed fine and quiet. As night came, they cooked dinner and relaxed inside their van, feeling safe and warm in their mobile home. Suddenly, while Tommy was eating, he stopped. Through the van window, he thought he saw someone walk by.
And I could have sworn I wasn't looking at the mirror.
Rachel, who was having soup, also thought she saw something move in her peripheral vision, like someone walking across.
In my peripheral. And I could have sworn I saw something walk across there.
Tommy confirmed he saw what looked like a man walk across. Rachel told him to watch the window, saying it was a little unnerving. Feeling uneasy, Tommy went outside to check. The woods around them were very quiet and dark. He walked around their campsite but didn't see anything or any sign of anyone being there. He mentioned that whoever he saw would have walked across a certain area.
It looked like somebody striding across quickly.
He also said that Rachel stayed inside and they both had ways to protect themselves and the locked van.
Not let Rachel get out. For anybody that asks, we both have a way to defend ourselves.
Tommy admitted he really didn't like the situation and felt uncomfortable, even walking back to the van with his back to the woods.
I don't really like this.
Just as he started to think it was his imagination, a scary sound broke the silence, a child's scream. It seemed to come from deep in the woods, the same direction where they had heard the strange noises on their previous visit. Tommy said it sounded like a young child screaming and it was unsettling because he wouldn't know where to even start looking or if he should. He thought it sounded like a 5 or 6 year old screaming and it was just a scream, not any words. He wondered if it could have been a bobcat, but it was coming from the same area where they had heard howling before.
It sounded like a little kid screaming. I didn't know where to begin to go looking, or even if I should go looking for it. No. But it sounded for all the world like a 5 or 6 year old little kid. And I didn't hear a word. It was just more like just a scream. I mean, it could have been a bobcat.
Yeah.
But it's from the same area we heard the howls before.
He said it was crazy and that he didn't like it. Tommy and Rachel froze, listening intently. After that single scream, the forest became completely silent, an unnatural and heavy silence. Then the howling started. It was the same eerie echoing howling they had heard before, but this time it was louder and closer. Rachel said they were now hearing howls. She had her window all the way up and had not heard any more screams, but definitely the howls.
And now we started hearing howls. I haven't heard any more screams, but definitely been some howls.
Tommy rolled his window down a little and Rachel asked if he heard one. Tommy expressed his frustration and wished they could just have a normal night, wondering what was strange about this particular spot.
Can we just have a night? Can we just... I don't know what it is about this spot.
Yeah.
What is it about this?
Rachel then pointed out another howl coming from a different direction. That was enough for Tommy. He did not want to stay and find out what was out there. He immediately started the van, put it in gear, and sped away down the dirt road, not looking back. They had ignored the warning signs once before and were not going to make the same mistake again.